Hi, this is Gisele Schierhorst, head of the Music Library, and welcome to this edition of Vinyl Notes. Today we're going to celebrate Women's History Month. It's a little bit late, but better late than never. I'd like to talk about some of the LPs that we have that feature some of my favorite women performers, musicians, instrumentalists, vocalists, that we've collected over the years, and some of them have a personal resonance for me, and all of them have some great music. These are LPs featuring cellist Jacqueline du Pré. Jacqueline du Pré was a British cellist, recipient of the Order of the British Empire, and she was known for her recordings of the Elgar cello concerto and also many solo cello sonatas, particularly those with her husband, pianist and conductor Daniel Barenboim. And when I was studying the cello as a child, my parents gave me a copy of this LP featuring the two Brahms cello sonatas for cello and piano, and to this day, I enjoy this recording and the special musical bond that there was between them, and their collaborations were just wonderful, and I'm so glad that we have them on record. Marilyn Horne is an American mezzo-soprano who has an exceptionally beautiful voice and the ability to execute difficult and fast-paced coloratura passages. She appeared at the Stoller Center many years ago, and I attended that recital with my family, and it was just wonderful. And this is a recording of a number of excerpts from operas, so we're glad we have that. I snuck a couple of CDs into the presentation today. Sofia Gubaidulina is considered one of the most important Soviet-Russian composers of the latter 20th century, and very glad to have a CD featuring her complete piano works and her work, the 7 Words, and Silenzio and Incroce. Darya Semigin is professor of music at Stony Brook and director of the department's electronic music studio. And this is one of her recordings, which also features work by another Stony Brook composer and faculty member, the late Bulent Arel. It's called Electronic Music for Dance. Leontine Price is an American soprano and the first African American to be a leading performer at the Metropolitan Opera. She is often mentioned as one of the best sopranos of all time. And again, during my childhood, I did see her with my family in recital at the Calderone Theater in Hempstead, New York. And it was wonderful. This is another one of my favorite performers, Ileana Cotrubas, a Romanian soprano, admired worldwide for her vocal and acting abilities. Great performances on PBS, New York station Channel 13, presented this opera with her in the title role as part of the series Live from Lincoln Center. Placido Domingo and Cornell McNeil were also members of the cast, and it was just a great performance. This is a CD of the works of Kaija Saariaho, a Finnish composer based in Paris who often combines live performance with electronics. She spoke very graciously to us about her compositional process in an interview with the music department's professor, Judy Lockhead, in the early 2000s, a couple of decades ago, right here in this seminar room. Jessie Norman was an American soprano who performed at the Met, the Lyric Opera of Chicago, the Royal Opera House of London, and the Paris Opera. She had a commanding presence on stage and made exquisite recordings of song cycles by Brahms, Strauss, Schumann, and Poulenc. She appeared at the Stoller Center also many years ago and was very gracious, very elegant. Hildegard von Bingen was a nun and abbess, author, and composer. She wrote many compositions for use in church liturgy, as well as a musical morality play entitled Ordo Virtutum. I participated in a choral performance of one of her works many years ago at the Amherst Early Music Festival in Massachusetts, and it was a beautiful and challenging piece, well received by the audience. Julia Perry was an African-American composer and teacher. Her early works incorporate spirituals and call and response, but her later works are more in the style of her teachers, Nadia Boulanger and Luigi Dalla Piccola. Her short piece for orchestra is an example of this and was featured on my radio show, Music Library Gems. Barbara Hendricks is an internationally known opera singer. She was born in Arkansas, graduated from the University of Nebraska-Lincoln with a bachelor's degree in math and chemistry, and studied voice at the Aspen Music Festival and School, and then at Juilliard in New York City with Jenny Terrell. She has performed in opera houses all over the world and has lived in Europe since the late 70s, where she also supports many humanitarian causes. Here's a CD of music by Louise Farrenc. Louise Farrenc was a French composer of the 19th century's Romantic period. She wrote works for solo, piano, chamber ensemble, and orchestra. A recording of her sonata for cello and piano was featured on Music Library Gems. This is a painting of Barbara Strozzi on the cover of a CD of her music. She was a 17th century Italian composer and singer who wrote 8 volumes of vocal music during the Baroque period. This is an LP of music performed by Martha Argerich piano. She is an Argentine virtuoso pianist who has recorded many concerti and is also a frequent collaborator of chamber music. Emma Kirkby is an English soprano who specializes in medieval, Renaissance, and Baroque music. Renata Scotto is a soprano and opera singer who now directs operas and teaches. And finally, Evelyn Lear, who performed all 3 roles throughout her career in Richard Strauss's De Rosenkavalier. She also played the title role in Alban Berg's opera Lulu. So I hope you've enjoyed this presentation of some of the wonderful LPs we have here featuring women musicians, composers, performers, and if you'd like to listen to them, they're here to use on the premises. And if you have questions about any of them, please let me know. And tune in if you can to Music Library Gems every Monday on WUSB 90.1 FM and 107.3 FM on Mondays from 2 to 3 p.m. So thanks again for visiting Vinyl Notes.